Just a minute. Is it my laptop screen is visible from your side?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Next, data definition language. Uh, in our first four classes, we already discussed about the overview of database management systems. In continuation of that, uh, the data definition language, the database schemes. What is scheme and what is a schema, or what is the instances? I have already told you. But again, that is schema is the overall design or structure of the database. Okay, overall design or overall structure of the database. If we an instance is the basically the at a particular moment of time the content of the database, that is collection of information stored in the database at a particular instant or particular moment is called the instances of the database. Is it okay? If we think about it will be analogous if we consider the variable, just a type definition in a programming language. Suppose if we write the int x, so by that type definition, this is the basic structure. By that actually it tells the x is the variable and it may contain the integer type of value. But later at a particular moment of time, what is the value of x, the variable x? It may be 5 or it may be any value, any integer value. So that value is the here instances, and the type definition, just like a int x, is the schema. In case of database also, the overall structure database schema. And database schema is, or schema, or sometimes it is called a scheme, is specified by a set of definition which are expressed by a special type of language that is known as the data definition language. That is, by data definition language we can define the database schema, which is basically a set of definition. Database schema is the set of definitions which are expressed by data definition language. And after compilation of this DDL statement, that is data definition language statements, is a set of tables and which are stored in a data dictionary. The data dictionary is one of the special file. Data dictionary is one kind of special file, and that is which contain the number of tables. That is, it contains a metadata, that is data about data. I can repeat again the whatever the fact actually I want to discuss, that is the data definition language. The database scheme is specified by a set of definition which are expressed by a data definition language. And result of compilation means after compilation of this DDL statement is the set of tables which are stored in a special file which is known as the data dictionary. What is data dictionary? That is, this data dictionary is a special file that contains the metadata, that is data about data. And this file, this data dictionary, or this file actually is consulted before actual data is read or modified or accessed from the database. Okay, this data dictionary is consulted before actual data is accessed or modified in the database systems.
Sir, could you repeat what data dictionary is, sir?
Data dictionary is a special type of file which contain the this is basically the you can think like a contain a metadata, that is data about data. It is one of the special file that contain this file contain a number of tables. Each of the tables contain the data. Okay, by the DDL statement, that is the data definition language, by this each of the statements, when it is compiled, it can produce a set of tables. Okay, these tables where actually stored, it is stored under the data dictionary, one of the special file that is known as the data dictionary. That means this data dictionary is a file that contains the metadata, that is data about data. Okay, and this the data dictionary, the database system consult the data dictionary or this special file before accessing or modifying the actual data in the database system. Okay, and
Sir, could you go to the previous slide? Just one, sir. Just one, sir. Okay, sir.
just a minute. Tell me.
No, sir. No, sir. No, it's done, sir. Understood, sir.
Okay. For example, for defining the database schema, say the one of the DDL statement is the say create table. So here the create table, this is a statement, and this is the name of the table. Suppose if the table name is the customer, then which contain the customer information, then table name is the customer. If it contain the account information, then table name is the account, so on. That is the basic statement is the create table, table name, and inside the braces there is a number of attributes. Those attributes are required to describe the table or to describe the property of the table, particular table. For example, customer, to describe the customer, what are the attributes are there? Customer name, customer ID, is it na? Customer phone number, customer address. Similarly, to describe the account table, account number is the one of the entity, balance is the maybe the other entity. Is it clear? So by create table command, this is one of the DDL, that is data definition language statement or command, and when this statement is executed, it creates a one of the table, and that table is stored in stored under the special file that is actually called a data dictionary. Whatever actually I told, that this is the one of the real example, that is create table. What is the table name? Account. What are the attribute? Account number, and it's include the type, and another attribute is the balance and include the type. And when we talk about the SQL structured query language, during that time we can discuss details about that, and as well as in the next semester your database DBMS lab is there. There you can implement all of the you can create the table, you can write the different queries by consulting the data stored in that table or something. Okay, so is there any question? That is, this is one of the DDL statement, and similarly other DDL statements are there. Alter table. Suppose if we want to change the table basic structure, maybe we want to add a new attribute, we want to add the new attribute on the existing table. Suppose in the account table here, actually what are the attributes in this example? What are the attributes? Account, number, and balance. Suppose the access date, on which date this particular account is accessed. If we want to store such information, then access date is the other attribute. Suppose later I want to add, or database administrator, or this information need to be stored. At that time, we alter the table and add the new column. Okay, the column is new attribute is the access date. Okay, and this is a date type. My point is clear. Suppose you want to delete some table, then at that time there is a delete table is there. Or if you remove the structure means if we want to remove the old table from the database schema, then there is a drop table command is there. Okay, this one we can discuss when you talk about the SQL chapter. Now the storage structure and as well as the access method access method used by the database systems are specified by a set of definition. In a special type of DDL, that is called the data storage and definition language. That is, data storage and definition language is the one of the special type of DDL, that is the part of the DDL, data definition language, that can responsible to use for the storage structure and access method, and that can use by the database systems. And the result means after compilation of this definition that is written by the data storage and definition language is the set of instructions to specify the implementation details of the database schema. And normally these are actually hidden from the normal users or database users. That is, the statements written by the data storage and definition language after compilation, this definition is the set of instructions to specify the implementation details. For example, what type of file structure can be used in the physical level, which indexing method actually use to efficiently access or read the data stored in the database. Okay, and so on. And here indexing is the one of the chapter is there in our database management system subject. And DDL provide the facility to implement the consistency constant and integrity constant. What is the consistency constants? We already discussed, I think, in our last class. Is it not? That is,
sir, what?
Maintain the consistency constant. Consistency constant.
No, sir, we hadn't spoken about.
I can give an example, not for a specific purpose actually. Say for example, in a concurrency or transaction control. In concurrency control, suppose in a banking account, particular account A is there. The account A, say at a particular moment, the balance on that account is the say 10,000 rupees. Is it? Suppose the user 1 and user 2, two different user 1 and user 2, try to access or try to withdraw some money from the account A from two different ATM. Okay. Say user 1 try to access, try to withdraw the amount, say 1,000 rupees, and user 2 withdraw the 2,000 rupees. Okay. There may be possible if there is no good or well concurrency control protocol or concurrency control mechanism if absent, then database may reach in a inconsistent state. Why? The data withdraw by the two users, but it will be withdrawn actually reflected for the one of the single users. That means after withdrawal, if there is a concurrency control protocol is not present in the database, then what happens? The either after withdrawing, either account A contain 8,000 rupees or 9,000 rupees. That is the one of the withdraw is reflected in the updation purpose, not both the withdraw. Okay, so if concurrency control mechanism is there, then both the withdraw, that is the 3,000 rupees, will be deducted from the account A, and actual result is 7,000 rupees after both of the withdraw. I think I already discussed. This one, just like this example, that is the drawback of file system. I can discuss there actually. That is why I can say that this is the inconsistent result, because the account A consists initially before withdrawal 10,000 rupees, but after withdrawal account A reflect either 8,000 rupees or 9,000 rupees. Both are actually incorrect because this is an inconsistent state. Why? Because the money actually transfer, not money actually lost. Money transfer or withdraw from account A to user 1 and user 2. So in that case, just a minute. Just a minute. So in that case, the total money before withdraw and after withdraw is not consistent. That is, money does not lost. The overall money is same. Okay, just is it na? Account A initially contain the 10,000. After withdraw, account A reflect either 9,000 or 8,000 rupees. Both are actually incorrect because user 1 withdraw how much? 1,000 and user 2 withdraw 2,000 rupees. So overall 3,000 rupees is withdraw. So here this is a overall this is 3,000 rupees. So this 3,000 plus 9,000, it is a 12. It is a 12,000. Is it na? If we add this one, then what is the value? 12,000. And if we add this one, 8,000 plus 3,000, that is, it is a 11,000. But what is the actual money? 10,000. So this 1,000 rupees here or maybe here 2,000 rupees comes from where? That is, it is an inconsistent state. That is not desired. Okay, if both the withdrawn, that is 2,000 and 1,000 is reflected here, the actual result will be 7,000. So this 7,000 plus this 3,000 equals 10,000. That is, before withdraw and after withdraw, the total money is preserved. That is the consistent state in this example. Is it clear or confusion? Is there any question? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
So this is need to be repeat. Okay, actually one page is needed. It will be more clear when you talk about the transaction chapter, but still, just a minute. Sorry. Say for example, account A consists 10,000 rupees. Okay, this is account A. Say user 1 withdrawn 1,000 rupees, and user 2 withdraw the 2,000 rupees. This concurrently. Okay, concurrently withdraw this amount. User 1 1,000 rupees and user 2 10,000 rupees. So when user 1 withdraw the 1,000 rupees and user 2 withdraw the 2,000 rupees, both for that actually small program or small code is there. Otherwise, how actually the money is transferred? The 1,000 rupees actually deducted from 10,000 and it will be comes or added to the user 1. Is it now? So here, or you maybe think like this is a transfer to user 1 account or transfer to user 2 account. So here what happens? Say user 1 is the transaction T1. What is there? This is a read account A, then deduct F to A minus 1,000, then transfer user 1 to user 1 to say 1,000, and then write A. Okay, and suppose at the same time another transaction T2 for user 2, T2 actually for user 2. This also the read A transaction, account A. Here it deduct the A equal A minus 2,000. Okay, 2,000. Then user 2 equals 2,000 rupees. Maybe withdraw, maybe transfer, and then write A. So in that case, what happens? In that case, actually, what happens? Here actually, this is deducted by 1,000. That means what is the value of A? A is, in that case, A is 9,000. Is it no? And here, what is the value of A? In that case, A is 8,000. Is it? And user A got the user 1 got the 1000 rupees, user 2 got the 2000 rupees. Here you can see this is write the A. What value actually write on the database? 9000. Okay, that is here actually write 9000 in the account A. But you can see after that transaction T2 execute the write A statement. That is this write statement executed after this write statement. So what actually value write here? It is overwrite 8000. So in account actually what is there? It will be deleted and finally 8000. But this is true. It is not true. Why? Because the money withdrawn is the 1000 plus 2000. That is 3k. Okay. So total amount equals account A plus 3k. This is equals right now what? 11k. So if it is a 11k, but what is the actual value in the account A before transaction or before this withdrawal or before this transfer? 10,000. So now question actually comes there, from where actually the another 1000 actually generated. So this is the inconsistent. So database fall in a inconsistent state because before transactions the total amount of money and after transactions the total amount of money does not preserve in that case. If it is preserved, then database in a consistent state, because here money actually transferred from account A to user 1 and account A to user 2. The money is not generated here. So, but here actually 1000 is extra generated. Is it impossible? So this is an inconsistent state. Similarly, whatever actually I told, if this write statement, if this write statement execute after this write, then database this value is, here it is a 8000 and here it is a 9000. Okay, it is a 9000. So in that case the total amount will be, 12k. This is also a wrong. Why this actually comes? Because this discrepancy or this inconsistency actually generated. This one we can discuss when we talk about the concurrency chapter, transaction and concurrency control mechanism. Basically these two transactions executed parallelly, concurrently, but though in the machine or computer or server it executes serially. But this one, whatever actually both the transaction, that is user 1 read what value in account A, it read the 10,000 value. It also read the what value? It also read the 10,000 value. For that this problem actually comes. If the transaction T2 this read statement after this write, then that does not happen or create the problem. So okay, we can discuss this one in later. I think the inconsistent state is okay. So inconsistent state is not desired. The database must be stay in a consistent state. Another is the integrity constant, and there is some other consistency, different type of consistency constants up there. For example, so this is the one of the consistency or inconsistency difference. Say I mean primary key. What is the key we can discuss later, but at a brief, actually the key is the one of the attribute. By that attribute or by that attribute value, we can uniquely identify the particular record or particular tuple or particular row from the table. Okay. That is, in a customer table, there is a number of customers such information present. So how we distinguish one customer to another customer? For example, either customer ID, customer name. If we assume the customer name, there is a no same name is present in the customer list. Otherwise, customer ID is the unique value. That is, there may be one or more attribute which uniquely identify the each of the row in the table or each of the entity in the entity set or each of the relation in the relationship set, whatever, is called a key. There are different keys are there. We can discuss later. The one of the consistency constant is the if the attribute is the key or primary key or maybe it is a candidate key, then its value is not null. Okay. That is, a primary key contains some value. It does not contain a null value. So this is one of the consistency constant. Okay, we can talk when we talk about the details in relational database and entity relationship models there. And integrity constant is the other type of constant. For example, the domain constant or referential integrity. For example, the domain constant. Suppose the customer name. Customer name, you can write the name. There is a no numeric value can be allowed. Okay. Or suppose the one of the domain constant, say customer ID. The customer ID, suppose it will be start with the character Z. Okay. Or maybe say in a student table, say student ID of the NIT Durgapur will be begin with the NIT D. And after that, NIT D, after that there is some other digit or alphabet is there. But every ID, student ID of the NIT Durgapur students will start NIT D by this string. That is, this is one of the domain constant. Okay. So there are different type of constants are there. For example, say consistency constant. One of the consistency constant, another consistency constant example, say balance does not a negative value. That is, balance is every time it is a non-negative. Or maybe the balance, say A1 city, the minimum balance is say 3,000 rupees. That means it does not fall a less than 3,000 rupees. If it is fall a less than 3,000 rupees, then some fine will be added. But still, it is possible to, it can, balance can be a less than 3,000. Maybe we can add the fine. But balance does not fall a negative number. Okay. So is there any question? Is there any question, please?
No, sir.
So the next one is the data manipulation language. The data manipulation language for accessing or manipulating the data stored in the database, and of course the data organized by the appropriate data model, maybe relational data model or network data model or maybe entity relationship model, whatever. This data manipulation language are two types. One is the procedural data manipulation language, and there is the non-procedural. Okay, the previous one, DDL. The DML is also one of the part of the DDL. DDL is the basically used to define the schema, basic structure. On that structure, if there is any constant, that also defined with that structure. That is, the structure of the database is defined by the data definition language, whatever earlier discussed. And by data manipulation language, by this language, we can access or manipulate the data stored in the database. Okay, and such type of language is two types: procedural DML and non-procedural DML. So what is the procedural DML? In case of procedural DML, the user requires to specify what data is required and how to get such data. That is, in case of procedural DML, data manipulation language, need to specify what data you need and also specify how to get this or such data. But in case of non-procedural, or sometimes called the declarative DML, requires only to specify what data you need, what data is required, without specifying how to get such data. Okay, so from that it is clear the non-procedural, this non-procedural DML is much more easier to learn than the procedural DML. Okay, because here actually only specify what data is required. No need to specify how to get this data. But in case of procedural, need to specify also the how to get such data. And because the user, in case of non-procedural query language, the user does not specify how to get the data. So non-procedural query language may generate some inefficient or some extra code. Okay, of course, na. So because the procedural language, they also specify how to get this data. But in case of non-procedural, does not specify how to get such data. For that, some extra code or complex code is required. In that case, may generate inefficient code by the compare with the procedural query language. And this difficulty, that is the non-procedural DML generate the inefficient code, and that for that this drawback can overcome by using the query optimization technique. By using some query optimization technique, by that we can reduce such drawback. And I told you that this is the query. The query means actually query is the statement basically. Query is the statement. By that statement, user can request the retrieval of information stored in the database. And the portion of the DML that involves the information retrieval is known as the query language. And I already told the SQL is the most widely used query language, and it is a non-procedural query language. In our syllabus, SQL is there, and I already told the SQL is the one of the main query language in today and also the in past also. Up to that, any question or any point need to be repeat? Yes or no?
No, sir.
What is the difference between DDL and what is the DDL and DML, data manipulation language? I think is clear. DDL is used to define the database schema, and DML is used to retrieve the information stored in the database. That is, by DML we can write some statement, maybe one or more statements, to retrieve or to access the information stored in the database. DMLs are actually two types. DMLs are two types, that is procedural and non-procedural DML. Okay, and non-procedural DML are much easier to learn than the procedural DML, but main drawback of the non-procedural DML is it can generate some inefficient code, because in case of non-procedural query language, that is non-procedural DML or non-procedural query language, how to get the data is not specified. So for that, it generates some extra code or complex code compared to the procedural query language or procedural data manipulation language. So this drawback can be reduces by using different query optimization techniques. For example, SQL. SQL, the basic statements are select from where. The details we can discuss when we talk about the SQL chapter. It is itself one of the chapter. It can take a 7 to 8 or maybe 10 classes for that. So 7 to 8 class is minimum required. So here actually the select from where, this is the basic statement or keywords. By select, actually, suppose I want to find the name of the customer with customer ID, this one. So how we write the query? By using the DML, data manipulation language. How we write the query? By using the select statement. In the select, here we write the customer name. Okay, because our query, what is the query? Find the name of the customer. Find the name of the customer with customer ID, this one. So select customer name. This customer name is present in which table? Please tell me, anyone.
The customer database.
Customer, not customer database. It is a customer table. It is a customer table. Maybe in the banking database or maybe in the inventory control database or somewhere. In a particular database, I am not saying about the name of the database, but under a particular database, the customer is the table. So here we write the table name. And in the where we write the condition. What is the condition here? Which
So
customer name actually I want?
19283.
Okay, good. Customer ID equals 192, this one. That is in the table. That is when this is a one of the query. This three statement, that is, this is a one of the SQL query. This query actually, what task actually perform? It finds the name of the customer with customer ID is this one. That is when this query is executed in the customer table, it searches the customer ID is match. If customer ID is match, then only the customer name is taken and it will be displayed in the screen. Okay. So other example we can discuss when we talk about the SQL chapter. Okay, just 5 to 10 minutes. The database users, there are different type of users are there depending on the interaction with the database system. The name user, this actually no computer knowledge is there, or maybe the minimum knowledge of the computer is there. So such type of user actually invoke one of the permanent application program that have been written previously by the database system in the database systems. By that application programs, these naive users can access the database. Okay, naive user means no computer experience at all, or maybe the very minimum experience is there or exposure is there. Next one is the application programmer. This application programmer interact with the database system through data manipulation language statement or data manipulation language call. Okay, another kind of users are sophisticated users. This actually interact with the database by creating the form in the database query language. And specialized user, please tell me.
Sir, actually we have class and we have to submit an assignment at 6 o'clock, sir.
Okay, just 5 to 7 minutes only, because the consistency constant to define again take a time. Just I want to just only 5 minutes. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
The assignment in the other which in distributed database.
No, sir. Actually, we were given an assignment, sir, which we have to submit by 6:30, sir, today. That's why, sir.
Okay, just 5 minutes only.
Okay,
the other is these are the very simple one actually. Just these are the basic things. The defined kind of user, that is the specialized user, who is the knowledge of good knowledge of computer systems, and write the specialized database application that do not fit in the traditional data processing framework. That is, this specialized user basically may write the new application programs. Now, database administrator. What is the database administrator? Database administrator is a person, is a human, basically, not a program. Database administrator coordinates all the activities of the database systems, and this database administrator has a good understanding or good knowledge of the industry or maybe the enterprise information resources and needs. Okay, that is database administrator is the person who is the main coordinator regarding all the activities performed in the database systems. Okay, what are the main role of the database administrator? The scheme definition, whatever actually I told before, that by using the DDL data definition language, we can define the database schema. This database schema is created by writing the set of DDL statement, and of course this set of DDL statement, when it is translated or compiled, it can produce the set of tables and which is stored in the data dictionary, under the data dictionary or under the special file called the data dictionary. That is the schema definition. Storage structure and access method definition. That is what kind of storage structure and as well as the access or indexing method used to easily access or efficiently access the data. Schema and physical organization modification, granting the user authority to access the database. That is by it the database administrator give the authorization. That is, I can access this particular database or not. First, I need to take an authorization from the database administrator. So database administrator give the user ID and password such that I can access that database. That is authorization. And not only the there may be the database administrator can restrict. Only give the authorization to me to read the data. I can't modify the data. That is only the read access. Database administrator can give me a permission to both read and write. That is, update is possible. So that is also possible. So the DBA, database administrator, is also called the DBA. Give the, authorization and also the constraint on that authorization. Means I can access the full database, or I can read only the database, or I can see the part of the database only. And on that part, maybe I can read and modify the database. Specify the integrity constraint, monitoring the performance and respond to change in the requirements. To change in the requirement means suppose any important users or high profile users are there, but when he or she can access the data, maybe the huge volume of data, during that time the other users also does not fall in a bottleneck that can see or tackle by the database administrator also, with some extent, of course. The transaction management I already told when I talk about the file system, and today also the transactions is it now? This is a small transactions here. That is, this is one of the transactions. Transaction T1. What task actually perform? It can read from account A, deduct from account A, and that value actually transfer to the user 1 and update the account A. Similarly, this is also another transaction, say T2. So transactions and transaction is a collection of operations that perform a single logical function in a database applications. For example, T1 and T2 in our earlier example. So there is a storage management. Storage Storage manager is not a person. This is a program. The storage manager is a program module that provides the interface between the low-level data stored in the database and application program and query submitted to the systems. And storage manager is responsible for interaction with the file manager, and efficiently storing, retrieving, and uploading the data. Okay, and the main components of the storage management are authorization, and integrity manager, transaction manager, third one is the file manager, and fourth one is the buffer manager. Sometimes file manager and buffer manager is the same program module. Okay, these are the main components of storage manager. Okay, there are normally the two type of architecture is there. Two-tier architecture. In two-tier architecture, the application resides with the client machine, not in the server machine, and where it invokes the database system functionally at the server machine, and here this application interact with the database systems stored in the server machine by using the query language or DML language, data manipulation language. And another one is the three-tier. In case of three-tier, the application programs actually divide into the client application is there and server application program is there. The client machine act as a front end, just like it, and this one is the server or database is the back end. Here, the client does not directly access the database. The client application program contact the server application program, and through server application program, it accesses the database. That is usually through in a form. Okay. And this three-tier application are more appropriate for a large application, and these are used mostly in the industry and as well as the internet web. And this is finally the overall structure of the database systems. That is, this is the physical disk in the physical storage, and there are different mechanism indexes are there or different structures are there. And here different kind of users. These are the users, naive users, application program sophisticated, or maybe the specialized user or database administrator or DBA. This is the database administrator. What are the naive user? I already told they can use the special application program that is already pre-written. Through that application program can access the data. An application program write the query, and as well as the sophisticated program can also write the query tools, and DBA use the everything. So this is the overall structure. You can see from the books also in details. So this portion is completed. So any question? Do you have any question?
No, sir. Sir, will you upload the slides, sir, today?
Today, I think today is not possible. To maybe in this week I can upload. Maybe tomorrow. Today, if possible, then I can upload. Upload means I can actually want to create the course in a Moodle, but I did not get the time. So in Moodle, actually, I want to create this course, and then you can access, or I can upload there, and you can download from that.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
And sir, one other question, sir. Actually, we on Wednesday, sir, we don't have classes in. We don't have a lot of classes in the first half, sir. Sir, so is it possible to reschedule the class to say 11 a.m. or 12 to 12:45? Somewhat
I did
11
not
to 12.
get your point. Please pardon me.
Sir, on Wednesday, sir, we only have one class in the second half, and that is your class, sir. Is it possible to like prepone the class to like the first half, sir? We are free from 11 till 12:45, sir.
11 to 12:45 in
Yes,
Wednesday.
sir. Yeah,
Okay, need
Wednesday,
to be
sir.
see actually Wednesday 11 to 12.
11 to 12, sir. We are free, sir.
Okay, I can check it. Tomorrow you can do in the normal time, that is the 4 o'clock. But next week actually I can try from next week. Okay, I can see my routine. There is any other class, or maybe the next class is there or not, or
Okay.
previous class is there or not from 9 o'clock. So
Okay.
possibly I think I am free during that time, but I can confirm tomorrow or maybe the day after tomorrow.
Okay,
Okay.
sir. Okay.
So okay. If there is no question, then thank you. You may leave.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
sir.
Thank you, sir.